Hello everyone, my name is James. Welcome to Rising Potential. This is the Reign Series 2, Segment 1, Director's Commentary. Today we have I'm the fourth person. We have three guests. One's already introduced herself. She is the voice actor behind Chloe Moody, Izzy Dulay.
Hola.
The next one is the main character, Tom Rain's Tori Kamal.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
And last but not least, Frank Rosati, who voices the flamey guy, TV guy.
I only know English.
That was great.
But you're the Floridian too. What's up with that?
Hey!
Oh.
I was born in Michigan.
So was I, Frank. Whoa, you were?
Detroit.
I'm the
All right,
only
who
odd
knows
man
Kevin
up.
Bacon? Does anybody know Kevin Bacon?
I do. Not know him, but I know who he is.
Never heard of him.
Blasphemous.
You never heard of Kevin Bacon, Frank? Really?
I have heard of Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
gonna say, his name has the word bacon in it. I have to know this person.
I don't like bacon.
Wow. That's new.
And that fruit comes out.
I am done gasping.
I hate cooking too. It's awful.
Oh, yeah. I actually like cooking, but I can't cook.
See, I love to cook, but I'm good at it. Oh, wait, I'm a woman. That is very stereotypical.
That's a stereotype.
I
I was going to say something, but I mean, I just didn't want to be rude, so I just waited for Izzy to say it first.
You knew I was gonna say it.
I don't know. I was kind of just waiting for someone to say it. That wasn't a guy.
Into the kitchen with you, wench. I'm going.
Okay, welcome all to the director's commentary for segment 1. Today we're just going to talk about Reign and the characters and how it progresses and all that junk, and probably focus a lot on the three characters who are inside this commentary as we speak. So, who wants to go first?
Frank, I think you should go first.
Yeah, Frank.
Yeah, Frank.
God damn it.
What?
Hi, I'm Frank, and I'm an alcoholic. Oh, shit, wrong place.
Oh my god.
Frank does the guy with the fire on his head. And Series 2 is the sequel to the first season, obviously. One thing I wanted to do with Series 2 was, well, you know, I guess looking at it from my standpoint, it's the second season, and I wanted to do a lot of new things with the characters from the first season, as well as obviously introduce new characters. And Series 1 was all about, you know, I guess when you look at Series 1, there really isn't a plot besides, oh, it's raining, let's try to figure it out. And then in the end, it's some conspiracy, which obviously is not true, seeing how there's a second season. But Series 1 was very, I guess, relaxing, very smooth. Not much was going on, so my goal with the second season was to throw kind of like a 180. I wanted to have characters who didn't have many large roles in the first season to have much bigger roles in this season. Like, Frank voices the TV guy. He has a lot more stuff to do in the second season, and Tyler Moore, who voiced the professor, has a lot more stuff to do in this season as well. And I also wanted Series 2 to be more bigger. Like I said, like completely opposite of what the first season was. Season 1 was relaxing, calm, nothing was really going on that much. And Series 2, everything starts out calm like the first season, but as the episodes progress, it just ramps up and it gets crazy by the end of it. And almost to a point of being completely ridiculous, but I think it's funny in that way. So Frank, as you know, in the beginning, you know, there's actually like a really good scene in segment 1. It's like a 5 minutes or so, and it's completely dedicated to the space characters, you know, Frank, or like the TV guy, the green guy, all the aliens, and the French dude voiced by also Tori Kamal. How was it to... I actually forgot what I did. Did I send you script by script, or did I send you like all of them at once?
You did it script by script.
Okay, so did you know in the beginning how far you were going to go by the end of it?
Oh, God, no. My character's name was TV Guy.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to be done after, like, the first couple parts, and then it's like, well, later. But no, I'm happy that I got to be a bigger part of it than what I actually thought originally.
You did such a good job. I mean, like, as the season progresses, we get to learn names of the characters that we didn't know about before. That happens all in segment 2, so this is actually the wrong commentary to talk about that. But regardless, we find out all the names of, like, the TV guy and, like, all the workers and all that crap. And yeah, Frank gets a much bigger role, and by the end of the season, he's yelling, he's screaming, he's doing stuff with his fire.
I went all Super Saiyan.
Yeah, he's going all at it. Was it hard to yell and scream?
Nope, I have had a lot of practice online, so.
Awesome.
Thanks, fucking assholes online.
It's a shout out to your bros, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I used to do little local tournaments for Halo 3, and when I was practicing for them, I'd always go online on Lone Wolves. I would take my mic out, my parents would always come and yell at me because I'm yelling at the TV.
All right, who's up next, Tori or Izzy?
Tori!
Oh, snap, you got me. All right, I'm up next.
Okay, so Tori voices 2 characters in Series 2. He does Tom Raines, which is the main protagonist guy, and he also does a new character who is actually a recast. He does the French guy who has the hearts floating around his body. And, I'm not sure when I asked you to voice the French guy. I might have been in the beginning. And I was actually happy you did, because I think in Season 1, I forget which episode it was, and I think it was the second one, and you did, I think, one blooper where you spoke in a French accent. And I went back and I'm like, oh my gosh, because at that time the guy who was doing the French guy before couldn't do it because he was busy with college. I'm just going, wait a minute, Tori did like a French accent. And I went back, I'm like, oh my gosh, this could be perfect. And I asked you, and you're like, yeah, sure. So, and that's one thing that I love about you, like everyone's sending me lines, and I always say, if you mess up in the line, leave it in. If you want to mess around, leave it in, because I can use that for bloopers, and sometimes I can use bloopers in the actual episode. And Jamie Zinn, who voices Ted, does a great example of that. He literally BS's every single line, and he does it in such a great way that I can use it. So I love characters who mess up, because sometimes I can actually use that in the episode and it actually works. So how was it to I guess before we get into how was it to be Tom in this season and French guy, was it weird to voice 2 characters knowing that you were both the characters?
No, I think I end up doing, in some productions, I end up doing some certain voices, and at least for me, it's easier to do something with an accent versus something else that's unaccented, because then I can at least, I don't know, it's easier for me to separate the characters.
Uh-huh.
But it was definitely fun to do the French guy, because granted, Tom does get over the top later on, but the French guy is just over the top right off the bat, and I should have been more over the top in this episode. Like when I look back at it, I kind of see the French guy should have brought his voice up a little bit higher and been a little more insane to separate a little bit more. But still, it was a blast just doing something that crazy.
Yeah, I don't think that was really much of an issue, because at least for me, because Series 2, as we all know, is going to be batshit by the end of the season. But I didn't want to start off completely insane at the beginning, and then it slowly ramps up. I think towards the end of segment 1, 2, we see little hints. There's a scene where Tom's talking to Aaron, and then Aaron's like, "Oh, maybe your girlfriend Nikki's cheating on you," and then Tom flips out, foreshadowing what he's going to act like later on. But at the end of segment 3, that's when shit hits the fan, and from that point on, it just just boom, 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 nonstop until the very end. And I think having the French guy, he is crazy, and he's actually absent for a couple episodes, but he comes back towards the end, and he starts being more crazy. And I think starting off slow for...
Everybody stop what they're doing. It's Frank's scene.
Oh, yeah, Frank's scene. Well, now it's the alien scene, Frank. You're no longer in the spotlight. Oh, there you are again.
Important. Don't judge.
I spy a flaming guy.
My butt.
It's on fire.
Actually, one thing that I love about Rain is that there's a few characters who have the armor effects. Like the French guy has the floating hearts for no reason. The professor has the lightning for no reason, and Frank has fire on his head for no reason.
Which makes me happy every time.
And
I don't know. I think that's really cool, just having these characters, and usually it's always like the interesting characters. Like in series 2, the professor's super crazy and he has lightning, and the French guy is just French and he has hearts. That's not really stereotypical, right? Because like French guys are always like super romantic and stuff.
Racist.
And Frank just has fire because he can. So
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool because I like looking at other machinimas. I've never seen, if any, where they utilize the armor effects, and it's just funny that I think it's funny.
You actually asked me what color I wanted the armor to be. You asked me.
Yeah, I did.
So I actually chose my character.
Yeah, and back in back in like series 1, before I was making the professor, I asked you how to make it, and then I asked if you wanted fire on your head, and you said no, and I'm like, can I please put fire on his head? And I'm so happy you said yes, because so many awesome things happened. So
yeah,
I
guess it's that to our full advantage.
So
are those things built into Halo?
They are. Thank goodness they are. I mean, if I wanted to, I could probably just mask it, but that would be really annoying because I'd probably have to mask every single frame. So I'm very happy that Bungie decided to put those into the game. Yeah, or else it would have been a pain in the butt. Like masking Rain in Series 2 is really annoying. Like there's a part coming up where Tom's in the hospital, and it shows Chloe walking past a window, and then the camera pans to the left and it shows the professor. So in editing, I have to put the Rain in the background, and then Chloe walks through the window. So frame by frame, I have to mask around her body so that the rain doesn't go over her body. And then the camera moves, and I have to track it, and then I have to track it again all over the professor. So usually, I think now, because back then I didn't realize how hard it was going to be to edit, I think now I pick my camera angles really well to make sure that I don't have to edit a lot in post-production. And another thing, Tom is in the warthog, and in the game Halo Reach, if you don't have a weapon, it's actually a glitch where your character stands up, and it looks really stupid. So in order to have Tom with no weapon in the warthog, I actually have to have him holding a deactivated energy sword. So when I film, I have to make sure I don't show the energy sword's hilt, because it's really weird to just have some random guy walking around with a freaking sword, like a lightsaber or something. Like, why is it that there? So a lot of the angles, as you can see, always cover up that shoulder. And when I'm turning the camera, I have to make sure I don't show the hilt. And yeah, I just got sidetracked. So going back to Tom and the French guy, so Tom was very relaxed in the first season. Second season, we get hints, like even in the scene happening right now. And I think you told me this a while ago, that it was hard to voice act Tom doing his voice. I think you said doing like voices like the French guy or like very crazy voices, it's much easier, but trying to do Tom's voice was a challenge. And like Tom's voice is so, I don't know how to like think of it, but it's so, I guess, smooth. And it's so Tom.
That's the way I tell people. A friend of mine, she's like, how'd you describe his voice? I'm like, so Tom.
There's just something about it that just makes it so smooth. I don't know what it is, but is it hard to yell? Because when you yell, you kind of get out of character a little bit, at least for me, and like my voice is a bit higher. Is it hard to do Tom in those yelling scenes? Because, later there's a lot of yelling.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there is.
Everyone yells.
Yeah, actually the yelling isn't too bad, other than from like a technical standpoint of trying not to like peak the microphone. Or I should say peak the recording. So actually that's kind of the trickiest part, because I want to make sure I'm not like distorting, but still making it sound like I'm actually yelling. So for me that was always, I guess that from that standpoint it is tricky. But I actually found it's kind of liberating for me and easier for me to go nuts than it is to be subdued.
True.
So, yeah. But in the same token, I still want to still keep the Tomness there.
Yeah.
So, So I still want to scream a la Tom. Yeah. want to be still told, not too far, but that's, yeah. So I guess, the more I think about it, it is a little bit challenging, in fact. It is challenging, period.
But, like, you're an audio guy, so I guess now looking at that, you're very into audio, so I guess it wasn't, like, I guess it's not hard for you.
That one part that you should probably fix.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, Frank shared me there's an error in the first segment. Literally, like, 10 seconds ago, Tom talks in third person. And it's my bad. I actually forgot to delete that. I didn't know about it, so thank you, Frank, for telling me that I fucked up my production yet again. So,
it's okay to fuck shit up. I do it constantly.
I looked over the entire segment to make sure nothing was wrong, and I didn't find that. I don't know how I missed that, but yeah, there's a slight error. I could take it down and re-upload it, but I don't really think it's worth it for 15 seconds, and when it took me like 3 hours to upload it. But I'll try my hardest to make sure that the next segments don't have those little errors. But that's like the only error, I think. So I think I did a semi-decent job.
James.
Semi-decent. Okay.
There's a lot of editing you had to do, too, so that's actually, holy moly.
I actually was a bit lazy with the editing because in like the first season, like every angle the rain was in a different direction to like mark the camera angle. Like if the camera angle was going right, I would have the rain go right as well. That way it's flowing with the camera. I got lazy in series 2 and literally every single rain shot it shows rain just falling straight down. There's no angle. Minus maybe more rain like in this shot with the hospital. There's a lot more rain than there is, and the rain effects, or like the rain sound, I have to obviously lower it if they're in a building and raise it if they're outside. But other than that, it's not that hard. But yeah, the masking was a pain in the butt, so I'll have to make sure I don't try to... sometimes I purposely do angles like that just because I think it looks good and I want to challenge myself every so often, but yeah. So, alright, we talked about Tom, we talked about Frank, talked about the French guy. Next up is Chloe Moody. Hello. So,
do it in her voice.
Oh, yes.
Do I have to?
You don't have to, but... Oh, there's Chloe.
According to my analysis, you're all fucking crazy.
Yes.
Nice. Did I also send you all the scripts at once, or did I send everyone's scripts like one by one? I actually have no idea.
Pretty sure it was one by one.
One by one?
It was one by one, and then like... I know at one point it took me forever to get lines done because I had so many lines to do for other people that I just kept getting buried. And then I finally got to them and you're like, yes, finally! And I'm like, holy shit, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry. Every day I'd log in. You have lines? No.
It might be a slight hijack for me here, but I think there's a really cool perspective we can get. Izzy, what's it like to be... one of the few women in the machinima world that voice acts? What's that like?
Well, first off, it's kind of interesting, but it kind of stinks, especially for Halo Machinima. You don't really get to challenge yourself in the vocal range. Like, I do a lot of different voices, accents as well, so I usually only get to stick to voice A and voice B. I don't really get to use the rest of the alphabet, numbers, whatever.
Roman numerals.
Yeah, but you find that some directors, not all directors, like James doesn't do this, but some directors they, like,
special.
Talk almost condescending to, like, you don't know what the game is, you don't know what machinima is. And it's like,
really?
Some of the directors I've worked with are like, well, okay, you're the woman, you say your voice act, you do this, and don't worry about anything. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? Seriously?
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, some people are really condescending. That and yeah, it's just really interesting because there's not a lot of us, and from what I've noticed, there aren't a lot of us that will say anything.
Yeah, Izzy Moon, you say anything. I love you.
I know I say everything.
Real quick, Izzy, there are a bunch of female like voice actors, just doing like Sims stuff, but they never go anything like further.
Yeah, like if you go on Voice Acting Alliance, if you go on Voice Acting Alliance, there's like Sims everywhere and like 100 replies, and then as soon as you type something like that's either Machinima or Halo, they're just like, fuck that, I don't want to voice in some stupid game. I'm like, well, you're voice acting in Sim.
Is the Machinima stuff gets more limelight, it's more publicized, so I don't see why. I think there's part of it's being shy.
You think so?
Maybe they're like, maybe. because what I've noticed in every machinima like production I've been a part of, it gets more limelight than say something like a fan dub that somebody does, or like a game dub, or just original work. All of that stuff doesn't really get the attention that an all original Halo Machinima or anything associated to machinima.com would get. It just gets so clouded and nobody gives a fuck. So, because I started off on Voice Acting Alliance like fucking ever ago, I started off trying to get into dubs because I thought that's what would make me get me exposure, and it didn't do crap because everyone heard all my voices and they're like, "Oh, you're really good," but apparently I was really good, but apparently I'm not good enough. And then when I see their production, I was like, "You cast this person who can't even, they don't even sound like they know how to read." It's all about who you know for that, and it just frustrated me. And then I finally signed up to machinima.com and hopped on the forums, and that's kind of where I started really seeing progress in building my quote-unquote voice acting portfolio. So
cool.
The episode's almost done, by the way.
No, well, not almost done. Yeah, well, the credits, then we got like an extra scene at the end, and then the scrolling text, and then we have the outro. So
we had an extra scene at the end that I completely missed.
Yeah,
damn it.
You know,
you failed to watch it.
This is, I don't know. I mean, as soon as like credits roll, people like click off the video, and I kind of wish some people would just like wait a little bit longer. Because I'm like, if they're like, oh look, there's credits, yet there's like a minute left. I don't know how long the credits are, but there might be a hidden scene there, and there is. So.
I always look for that.
And it's another scene with me, sort of.
No, not really. You're not in the scene at all, Frank. Tori's though. Tori's the French guy. He's in the scene, and Grapes is going like, "Oh my God, I can't wait to kill with you!" And yeah, so
legs are important.
Yeah, but
legs are very important.
Legs.
Oh, without them, I would be on my butt forever.
I would be in a wheelchair.
That too. And on your butt.
A lot.
Lots of butts.
Alright, we are coming down to the end of this much better, more successful first take commentary. So thank you all for joining me. Yeah, any final words for the last, what, 26 seconds or so? No final words? Well, thank you all for watching. My name is James. Thank you, Tori, Kamal. Thank you, Izzy, Dulay. Thank you, Frank Rosati, for joining me on Rain Series 2, Segment 1, Director's Commentary. Stay tuned for some more Director's Commentaries. This is James of Rising Potential, signing out. Bye, everybody.